every 4 years. The World Cup doesn't just give us a winner, it creates a story the world remembers forever. And somewhere inside that story is the Golden Ball. The award given not to the top scorer, not to the most famous player, but to the one who becomes the heartbeat of the entire tournament. And this time, the race feels more unpredictable than ever. Because this isn't just about talent, it's about survival, moments, and legacy. And 5 different stories are about to collide. Every World Cup begins the same way, with chaos in the final third. With strikers who don't wait for chances, they create fear the moment they touch the ball. Kylian Mbappé is one of them, a player who doesn't run into space, he destroys it. Every counterattack feels like a warning. Every sprint feels like inevitability. But Mbappé isn't just playing for goals anymore. He's playing for dominance, for legacy, for control of the entire tournament narrative. And then there is Erling Haaland, a completely different force. No emotion, no hesitation, just precision destruction. He doesn't need 10 chances, he needs 1. And suddenly, the scoreboard changes. But here's the problem with strikers in World Cups. Scoring is not enough, because the Golden Ball doesn't reward finishing alone. It rewards influence. And influence comes from more than goals. Which brings us to the next layer of this story. While strikers hunt goals, midfielders control time itself. They decide when a match slows down and when it explodes. And this is where the real contenders begin to appear. Jude Bellingham, a midfielder who plays like he has already decided the outcome of the match. If England go deep, he becomes unavoidable in every conversation. Pedri, the quiet controller. Every touch feels like structure. Every pass feels like order in chaos. Bruno Fernandes, unpredictable, creative, dangerous in transition moments where tournaments are decided. These are not highlight players. They are control players, and control wins tournaments. Because when games get tight, midfielders decide who survives. And then, there is Lionel Messi, a completely different kind of story. Not just a player, a timeline of football itself. Every touch he makes slows the stadium. Every pass feels like memory. Every moment feels like history being rewritten again. Because Messi is no longer chasing greatness, he is defining how greatness is remembered. If Argentina go deep again, this is not just performance, it becomes legacy storytelling. And legacy is one of the strongest forces in Golden Ball voting. Because voters don't just reward dominance, they reward emotion. And Messi carries both. And then, there is Cristiano Ronaldo, a player who has spent 2 decades doing the impossible. Records, goals, Champions League nights, international trophies. He has conquered almost everything football has to offer. But there is one prize that has always escaped him, a truly iconic World Cup run. And that is what makes this story so fascinating, because no player understands pressure better than Ronaldo. No player has carried expectation for longer. At 41, every appearance feels monumental. Every goal feels historic. Every celebration feels like a reminder that greatness refuses to disappear. If Portugal make a deep run, and Ronaldo delivers in the biggest moments, the entire football world will stop and watch. Because World Cups are built on stories. And few stories in football history are bigger than Cristiano Ronaldo chasing one final moment of immortality. Will this be the tournament where the ultimate competitor writes his greatest chapter? Or will the World Cup remain the one mountain even Cristiano could not conquer? That question alone could define the entire tournament. But World Cups are never controlled by names alone. They are broken by unexpected heroes. And every tournament, a few players rise from nowhere and change everything. Jude Bellingham is one, but so is Vinícius Jr, a player built for chaos. One dribble can break an entire defensive structure. One run can flip momentum instantly, and if Brazil go deep, he becomes unavoidable in every highlight reel. Then there are players like Bruno Fernandes. If Portugal go far, he becomes the creative engine behind everything. Pedri or Gavi. If Spain dominate possession, one of them becomes the silent ruler of the tournament. Federico Valverde, covering every inch of the pitch, influencing both attack and defense. These players don't start the tournament as favorites, but they often finish it as stories. And sometimes, stories win golden balls. Because when the world stops expecting you, that's when greatness becomes undeniable. Now here's the truth most people misunderstand. The Golden Ball is not an individual achievement. It is a team-dependent award. No matter how good you are, you cannot win it in the group stage. You cannot win it if your team exits early. You win it when your team goes deep. Because every extra match is another chance to define the tournament. If England reach the final, Bellingham becomes a global phenomenon. If Brazil dominate the knockout stages, Vinícius becomes the face of the World Cup. If France go deep again, Mbappé writes another chapter of dominance. If Argentina repeat history, Messi becomes unstoppable in narrative voting. And if Portugal or Netherlands surprise everyone, one player suddenly carries an entire nation into history. Because that is how Golden Ball winners are created. Not in predictions, but in deep tournament runs nobody expected. Here's the reality nobody talks about. You don't win the Golden Ball in the group stage. You don't win it with consistency alone. You win it in knockout football, where pressure is maximum, where mistakes are fatal, where legends are created in seconds. One assist in a semi-final can matter more than 5 goals in group games. One defensive recovery can define a final. One moment of leadership can shift the entire narrative. Because when everything is on the line, the world is watching differently. And voters remember those moments more than anything else. So now the story is set. Mbappé, the unstoppable striker. Haaland, the pure goal machine. Messi, the legacy narrative. Ronaldo, the undisputed king of football. Bellingham, the rising midfield force. Vinícius Jr, the chaos creator. And then, the dark horses waiting in silence. But only one of them will become the face of the tournament. Not because they were predicted, not because they were famous, but because they were undeniable when it mattered most. So the real question is simple. Who will own this World Cup? Because when the final whistle blows, history will already have chosen its story.